former athletes just think you could do anything. Former first overall pick, Kyler Murray, he probably thinks he could beat you in shooting too, was released yesterday by the Arizona Cardinals, but he might not have to wait all that long to find his new landing spot. Murray already is scheduled to visit with the Minnesota Vikings later today. Our own Adam Schefter has reported that the belief around the league is that the Vikings are Murray's likely landing spot. So what would Kyler Murray signing with the Vikings mean, though, for J.J. McCarthy? Remember, we've only seen 1 year, sample size of J.J. McCarthy. What do you think, RC?
If they sign Kyler Murray, it's a sign that Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings have given up on J.J. McCarthy. Kyler Murray doesn't become a Minnesota Vikings without the assurance that he's going to be the starting quarterback, or at least that it would be his job to lose. Kyler Murray is not in the building on the first day he's available to be in the building because the Minnesota Vikings have confidence in J.J. McCarthy. The entire offseason, Justin Jefferson, who barely speaks, Justin Jefferson, who is an all-world player, had to subject himself to telling the world, no, I'm still good. He had to say, I'm still like that. It's actually surprising that I got to 1,000 yards with the quarterback play I was subjected to. And so to have Kyler Murray, a quarterback who did earn a second contract, a quarterback who has been at a Pro Bowl, who has played on a Pro Bowl level, to have him in your building on day one says that you believe you know all you need to know at this point about J.J. McCarthy, and you're moving on from him the minute Kyler Murray puts pen to paper.
You know what? I don't disagree with what you're saying overall. It's just the initial comment, because I don't think this says that J.J. McCarthy is not definitively the long-term answer. I think what this says more is that we were a bit premature in elevating him to begin with. He might need some work. That doesn't mean his future's over or anything like that, but they had no business doing what they were doing. That's why Adolfo Mensah lost his job. How do and Kevin O'Connell is lucky he still has his, because he's lucky that Justin Jefferson didn't tell all of them to kick rocks, get me the hell up out of here. Because it's not about one season and how bad that was from the quarterback position. It's about the fact that Sam Darnold guided you to a 14-2 record. Yes, he nosedived in the season finale against Detroit the season before last. Yes, he got sacked 9 times and only registered 9 points against the Los Angeles Rams in the playoffs. But the fact is, he had taken you to a 14-2 record over the first 16 games, and you had cats like Justin Jefferson viewed as an absolute stud, one of the top 2 wide receivers in the game of football. Jordan Addison was balling, T.J. Hockenson was balling. And you go away from that to place faith in a dude that had never thrown an NFL pass in a regular season game. How do you justify that? How do you throw your wide receivers to the wolves like that? So what I think is going on right now, RC, is the Minnesota Vikings trying to mend fences and correct the error of their ways by saying we got to make sure we have a quarterback. We don't have, there aren't question marks at the wideout spot. We got studs in this building. We can't do that to them. We can't do that to a Justin Jefferson like that. You can't leave him hanging. That's really what, to me, this is about, making sure that there's a quarterback who's a dual threat, 9 years younger than most of the quarterbacks that were out there, okay? I mean, when you think about Kyler Murray, all right? And because he's a dual threat at the quarterback spot, he can run with the football, he can still throw with the football. He is miniature in height, but certainly not size, not heart, not ability. The bottom line is you're sending the message to the people who matter, meaning Justin Jefferson. We ain't going to do that to you again. We going to make sure that you're going to have somebody that can get you that damn football, because that was a crime that the Minnesota Vikings, meaning Kevin O'Connell and Adolfo Mensah, committed by placing your faith in a dude that hasn't thrown a quarterback. RC, had it been somebody that was an NFL quarterback for years and stuff like that, that would be different. But to sit up there and to shove all of that by the wayside for a dude that you drafted 10th overall that was hurt all his rookie year, never played it down, and to just place your faith in the dude that had never thrown an NFL quarterback, you can't do that to a Justin Jefferson. That is criminal. It's criminal.
In my opinion, it's the Minnesota Vikings doing what teams refuse to do. Sometimes teams refuse to say, I was wrong. They refuse to say, I made the wrong pick. They refuse to say, I should have kept the incumbent quarterback in Sam Darnold. And you're talking about J.J. McCarthy possibly having an opportunity to develop, them not giving up on him. If that's the case, Kyler Murray isn't necessarily the type of quarterback you bring in for that. You talk about Jordan Love. He waited 4 years, but he was behind Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, he waited 4 years, but he was behind Brett Favre. Drew Brees was behind Doug Flutie. Carson Palmer was behind John Kitna. You have all of these different quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes for a year was behind Alex Smith. You were behind quarterbacks who had the level of experience, the level or the personality and the characteristics of mentors, of guys that you could sit behind and learn from. Kyler Murray isn't that type of player. Kyler Murray is a talented, unorthodox, shorter, dual-threat quarterback. You don't sit in a coach's room or you don't sit in the quarterback room and say, okay, I'm going to do what Kyler does. And so, in my opinion, you're bringing in Kyler to change the fate of your team. You're going to bring in Kyler on a one-year deal in hopes that he plays well enough to earn another contract in Minnesota and be your quarterback of the future.
Hold on, right. Don't you think even just talking to Kyler Murray, forget signing, just flirting with this idea already sends a message to J.J. McCarthy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You're
already telling him he hasn't lived up to the bill. Go ahead, Stephen A.
But wait a minute. It does. But this is not a dude that's been around like Kirk Cousins or anybody like that. It was his rookie year last year. You know, because he got hurt the year before the season even started after getting drafted 10th overall after winning the national championship. So it is entirely possible that you just weren't ready. And you know what? You need to sit your behind down and learn a little bit more and develop a little bit more before we throw you back into the lion's den. And whether it's this 1 year or the next 2 years, you can make that decision before completely giving up on him, is all I'm saying. I'm saying that the epitaph ain't written just yet, just because Kyler Murray is scheduled to arrive. You weren't ready. And now that you have this year under your belt to show that you aren't ready, you need to sit back and learn. And it's not about emulating Kyler Murray, because you ain't going to be Kyler Murray. But you could damn sure learn to be a hell of a lot better than you were last year as a starting quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
I would just say this. Caleb Williams, a ton of sacks in his rookie year. They didn't go get a Kyler Murray in Chicago. Even Bryce Young, who didn't play well early and was benched in year 2 early, they didn't go get a Kyler Murray. They stuck with those quarterbacks. They fought with those quarterbacks. They allowed those quarterbacks to develop while being on the field. They didn't say in the offseason, I've seen enough of you. I'm getting a starting level quarterback in here to compete. They didn't do that. That's what the Minnesota Vikings are doing. That sends a different message to me, Stephen A.
I will pivot at you like this, RC. Number one, let's remove Caleb Williams from that conversation. That brother's a stud. Athletically, body, arm strength, scrambling ability, and the ability to throw. I mean, you saw things from him that was special even when he was struggling as a rookie. In the case of Bryce Young, the Carolina Panthers at that time was so inept, so bereft of organizational structure and everything in between. You looked at him and said, everything around here in Carolina is hot garbage, before obviously they changed things around this past season. So those are two extreme situations that in my mind doesn't come close to mirroring what was going on in Minnesota this past season.
All right, we'll leave this here. We'll see what happens with the Minnesota Vikings, but according again to our Adam Schefter, they are the overwhelming favorite to go ahead and sign free agent Kyler Murray. Coming up on First Take, will the ejection of Jaylen Brown cost him any chance to win the MVP?